Hey guys, this is Don and welcome to another episode of Heating Noobs. Today on Heating Noobs we're going to be going over installing a gas line in this furnace. The first step in installing the gas line is going to be identifying the location at which you're going to be exiting the cabinet with the gas line. And if this was a replacement system in an existing home, we'd also want to take into consideration where the gas line was tied in on the old unit. Now this particular furnace, we have our return air duct's going to come down on this side, and we have our air filter on this side. And the locations to exit the cabinet for the gas line are here and over here. So ideally on this one, we're going to want to go out this side of the cabinet, and we're going to go ahead and grab our nipple run and all the fittings that we're going to need and get started. One of the first things you're going to notice with a brand new furnace is that there's a plug located right here in the bottom of the gas valve. So you always want to remove that plug. We'll grab our nipple run and a union. And on this particular brand of furnace, you got quite a lot of ground to cover from the bottom of this gas valve all the way over to this side. Now with your union, it's two-piece, which makes it a lot easier to do a lot of these gas installations. The other big thing with the union is it gives you the ability to, let's say you need to remove the gas valve down the road. If this union's sitting in here like this, you can simply disconnect this side and pull the whole assembly out in one chunk. Now it's going to be a little bit of a guessing game at first as to what length you're going to need on your unions, and of course you can get in here with a measuring tape, but if you have a nipple run that has a big assortment of sizes, you should be able to get pretty close with a guess. So what we have is two nipples now in a union, and we know that we're going to have to spin a 90 on to get up to here. So I'll get two pieces in, just threaded together, not even really hand tight, and kind of get an eyeball on about where we're going to have to sit with our two nipples. Now that one is, we only have maybe an inch sticking out of the side of the cabinet there, and we're not threaded together yet. So that's probably going to end up being way too tight once we get this wrapped up. But before I pull that out and throw a longer nipple on, I can kind of see that my gas line's pretty level here. So this is a great time to see which nipple you're going to need to go up with. And as it turns out, it looks like the one we currently have sticking out of the side is going to be the perfect one to go up. So we'll just slide that back out. We'll set this one to the side because that's going to be our piece going up. And we'll see if we can't find the next length bigger than that one to go out the side. And we'll go ahead and start getting some pipe dope on these fittings. I always like to work in one direction with a gas line. It just makes it easier. So we're going to go ahead and start at the valve. Now because of the tight quarters inside of this furnace, I will put the 90 on prior to spinning it into the valve, because there's just no room in there to work. And you don't have to go crazy with your pipe dope. Just make sure you have a good coating all the way around the threads. And with the gas line we're using here, it's standard 1/2-inch black iron. A lot of guys would definitely use a pipe wrench on this, but in a lot of cases, especially with this smaller stuff, you can easily get away with a good pair of channel locks. Just make sure you get them good and tight. And anytime you're working with black iron pipe, unless you're custom cutting your nipples to the exact length you need them, they're only ever going to be really close to what you need, and they're not going to be exact. So, I mean, obviously you want to try to get your piping as level and plumb as possible. but it's not always 100% accurate with this stuff. And it's not going to hurt anything from a functionality standpoint if you have a little bit of an angle on pipe. Another thing you always want to do is make sure when you're tightening your black iron into your gas valve that you're using a large adjustable wrench to back that up. Alright, we got it pointing in the direction of the exit hole on the side of the furnace now. Another thing to consider when you're putting two pieces inside here with a union is right here is your inducer motor. You can easily set that in a place where it could possibly rub. So in this case I'm actually going to use this longer nipple to get us out past the inducer wheel there. I have been accused of going crazy with pipe dope. I'd rather have too much on than not enough, but you definitely don't want to have a messy job. So once I get this all done, I'll actually go back through with some hand cleaning wipes and clean up all my joints. Now you could fish this line through and tie it in at the union from the outside in. I just find it a lot easier to go ahead and put this one together this way and push it out from the inside. And just like that, we're already outside the cabinet. But before I even start on the outside, I'll just go around with a paper towel, get the worst of the pipe dope off. This is especially important if you're going to be the guy coming back and servicing it, because there's nothing worse than getting in a furnace to try to do a little service work on it and coming out covered in pipe dope. Okay, now that we've made it to the outside, I'm going to come around this side. And as you can see, we have just enough threads out here that we can get our T on. Then we're going to pick a fairly long piece of black iron for our drip leg. I usually like to use 5 or 6 inch piece and a cap. The reason why the drip leg is so important is with any gas system, you always have the possibility of getting dirt, oil, debris, moisture inside your gas line. And what this is going to do is it's going to catch all that before it makes its way into your gas valve. Alright, next we're going to put another nipple in. This one's pretty much up to you as far as the length is concerned. And then we're going to spin on our shutoff valve. Now the reason why some of this stuff's moving around pretty easy is because I don't have that union tight yet. And that's okay. I usually try to do that at the very end of the project. Another thing to consider is which direction you want the valve handle pointing. I usually either have them facing front or facing to the side, depending on how the room or the space that they're sitting in is oriented. Okay, and our last piece is going to be our CSST connector. Okay. Now that that's all buttoned up, you usually take one of these hand cleaning wipes and really get in here and get all the excess pipe dope off. These are kind of a must-have if you're doing a replacement job and you're going to be doing other things in the customer's house, especially if you're going to be putting a thermostat on afterwards, because you definitely don't want to get this pipe dope all over. We'll try to get our line out the side, make sure it's straight up and down. And tighten down our union. Now once you've gotten to this point, if this is a new construction project, you're probably going to be air testing the system. What you always want to remember is you do not want to air test with, you really don't want to air test with this valve open. Let's put it that way. The gas valve is only really designed to have a half a PSI of pressure hitting it. So if you're going to pressure test your gas lines at 10 PSI, you will damage the gas valve, most likely. So what I always do is I close this valve, I air test my whole gas system down to here, and then after I know that that's good, I'll go ahead and turn this valve on, and I'll take a product like this, Mega Bubble leak detector, and simply take it around all the joints. And if you have any leaks, you're going to get bubbles. Plus it also kind of doubles as a second cleanup for your fittings. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video.